Number one fastest way to reverse liver and kidney damage in a very quick, up to 2-week amount of time. I want to give you what took me 6 months to research, go through the PubMed research, and boil down 12 hours to teach in a masterclass that I taught to tens of thousands of people in 20 minutes. Put us on the clock. Here we go. The filters of your body is the fastest growing problem in the world. Your filters are remarkable. Your kidneys filter your blood 12 times per hour. They isolate and they remove the waste and the toxins from the bloodstream, removing it into the urine. There's a lot of pressure on those two little beans. The liver filters hundreds of gallons of blood and neutralizes its job. Every toxin inside of your digestive tract and inside of your system has to neutralize, nullify, and eliminate those toxins inside of your body. Basically, these are the hardest working organs inside of you. Millions, hundreds of millions, under the sound of my voice, over the next 10 to 12 years are going to end up with problems with one of those two organs. In fact, you already have it. Major warning signs. Check out the video on that to understand if you have the warning signs. So I took 30,000 people through a masterclass, 12 hours of masterclasses in 20 minutes. Everything you would want to know about healing the liver and the kidneys fast. Look at this. I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of people going through. You're looking at reviews of this masterclass, radically changing the lives of so many people that sat and went through it. Why are we in this situation? We spend $8,000 per person per year, but look at our life expectancy. We're in the mid-range. Why? I think one of the biggest culprits is the crap that we're putting in our bodies. In fact, most other countries like Canada and the UK don't allow you to eat this stuff. But why do they do it? Because a Mountain Dew looks more appetizing when you put bright colors in it, and so you'll buy it. But a lot of those ingredients like yellow 5 and brominated vegetable oils are not allowed in the UK, for example. It's also cheaper to make when we use these crap ingredients. Doritos, look at the list of how much longer the natural and artificial ingredients are versus what is sold in the UK. This crap is killing us. So when you eat this stuff, this is destroying your liver. There are 10,000 ingredients in the US food supply. How do I know this? I literally went through the whole database. You're going to get a summary of the top ones that you should absolutely be avoiding for yourself, for your kids, and for your family members. I want to give you the highlights of the worst ones that are destroying your liver and your kidney. And I'm talking this is impacting our kids, our grandkids. So pass this thing along. Here's the highlights. Your liver can get 2 to 3 times bigger than it is right now. And this crap food is one of the reasons, along with kidney disease, that liver problems are exploding in this country. Do you know what the treatment is for fatty liver? There isn't one. This kind of gets me excited because finally, for once, medicine, the medical sick care model, stay the heck away from it. Because if you try to introduce your drugs, Tylenol is the #1 cause of acute liver failure. It destroys the kidneys and the liver. So for the first time, you can't give it one of those pills, Big Pharma. This is the fastest growing condition on the planet, and they're contributing to it in a massive way. Most medications are going to have some kind of side effect on the kidney or the liver. So they're a culprit of this. But the main culprit, the main one, is the crap. So I want to show you carbs, sugars, that's the C, rancid oils, that's the R, artificial ingredients, you got to get the heck out of your diet now, and processed proteins. This is the unlock. When it comes to carbs and sugars, you eat 164 pounds of refined carbohydrates. Refined is the key word there. Refined carbohydrates. Remember that, all right? 131 pounds of flour in a year. So basically, you will think you're not, but you got to start looking at a lot of these foods like donuts. And the Coca-Cola is like eating 3.5 donuts. The Raisin Bran, that's a donut and a half. And the banana even is a donut and a half. So it's this compounding onslaught of sugars going into our body. Simple, refined sugars. This is the crap that we've got to be paying attention to. I'm going to show you the simplest way to identify what you should be getting rid of. Now, if you don't, a PET scan is the way that we find diseased cells in the body, such as cancer, and they feed, they thrive, they love this crap. That's why I believe we have so much of cancers and heart disease and diseases going on in our country. That's how they find it. Now, in my research, I found there are 561 names of sugar in the food supply. 561 different names. How the heck are you going to keep up with that? Well, I got to give you a simple, avoid this, add this. This would be a better option, and here's the best. That's the rhythm. Avoid, approved, better, best, okay? What we've got to avoid when it comes to carbs and sugars, if you remove the fiber, we can't eat it, especially right now. Those are processed and simple carbohydrates. These in the red gotta go. If it's stripped of its fiber, it's almost as if there is 3 food groups, and they should be fat, protein, and fiber. Whoa, totally different way to look at this thing. fat, protein, fiber, not carbohydrates. You can have carbohydrates. Is what God intended to go with the carbohydrates still there? In these foods on the right, it's gone. That's what makes them immediately absorbed into the system, broken down in the mouth within 4 seconds, or having to be sent to the liver if they contain fructose, like sucrose, table sugar does, and pounds the liver. We need complex carbohydrates. What does that mean? Well, look at this little image right here. You see, when you strip the fiber off of the carbohydrate, you have a refined grain, for example. And these refined grains are what's spiking your insulin levels. And then do you know what has to take the brunt of this in the blood? Your kidneys do. Fastest way to take pressure off the kidneys and heal them is to get fiber-rich forms of carbs, if we were going to call them still, get actual fiber in and remove the foods that have been stripped of their fiber and remove the foods that have to be fortified to try to get them in their full form. Now, sprouted whole grain is going to be the best version of this. And you can see that we've got high fructose corn syrup, liver balm, soybean oil. We're going to talk about it in a minute. And we've got fake forms of these. And so they contain lots of sugars and lots of rancid oils and lots of sugars that are going to go straight to the kidneys, straight to the liver. So when we pick things like these carbohydrates, we want the whole wheat form, the organic form. It's got the fiber. You could probably flip this over and it has so much fiber in it. But if you flip over some of these forms of bread, not much. Now, there's a couple other criteria that come with that, but that's the basis of we want the fiber included. Fiber, protein, and fats. Now, it will include some fruits and vegetables that for a while, fruits have to be cut out to let the liver and kidneys heal. A lot of fruits are high in fructose. Fructose can only be broken down where? In the liver. So we don't want to tax the liver in that way. So for a period of time, we've got to cut all of these types of sugars out. So a lot of the sweet ones like bananas and mangoes and apples and melons, these got to go for a period of time. Okay. If you are going to have any watermelon, grapes, let's eliminate those. If we're going to have some fruit, lemons and limes, your liver loves it. Kiwi, your metabolism and your kidneys love that. Granny Smith apples, grapefruits, kidneys love those as well. The liver and the kidneys love blueberries and berries. These are okay because they're lower glycemic index, aka lower fructose. The main thing that your kidney and your liver wants though is a complete sugar fast, a complete carbohydrate fast, and only to add in fiber with your protein and your fats for a period of time. Now, what I've seen through the research is that within a 2-week period of time, if you were to cut all those forms of fructose and those toxic simple sugars out of your system, your liver could get 43.8% better. That's how fast this can go down. Kidneys can change and rejuvenate. Livers can change and rejuvenate. You could donate part of your liver and it can rejuvenate. So the avoid is for at least 2 to 4 weeks. I tell people 90 days. Avoid simple sugars. Avoid the foods on this list. These processed things that we're addicted to, all the forms of sugars, even breads, even grains, even crackers, even fruits, we avoid those, okay? We want fiber, we want protein, we want fats. Now, what is approved then are those forms of different sugars, right? Of different fruits that you can still add in, and then you're enjoying the healthy fats, which you're going to talk about in a minute. You're enjoying clean protein, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to regenerate and lose weight, or you might put extra damage on your kidney. We don't want that. The better version would be to be very strict with any forms of fructose, and the best is to go as low carbohydrates and low these forms of simple sugars as you can. If you're going to use some type of sweetener during this period of time, avoid the high fructose corn syrup, avoid things like agave nectar, and avoid artificial anythings for sweetening. If you need a little bit of sweetener, you could have a little bit of honey or maple syrup, but during this period of time, I would rather you have monk fruit or stevia as a better and best option to get a little bit of sweetness, but stay away from anything artificial to still suffice. This is the crap we have to remove. Now, the second one is probably worse than the first one. Rancid oils, your liver and kidney hate them. Every cell in your body hates them because every cell in the body has to have fat. And when it doesn't have clean, healthy fat that breaks down, that congests the cells, that is foreign because it's man-made, your cells can't take on nutrients and they can't get rid of toxicity. So we want to move you from a toxic cell to a healthy cell. When you move from a bunch of toxic cells to a bunch of healthy cells, you get healthy. All organs rise. So what does this mean? Each cell that you're going to rejuvenate and regenerate is going to be made out of fats. Which ones are you putting in? What you're eating now is knows where your body's going to be 90 days from now. So pick the green and the yellow and the orange, stay the heck away from the red. This is the rule. Do not eat these up here. They are rancid. They are deformed. They are very high in linoleic acid. We have a linoleic acid onslaught in our body, and that is what absolutely clogs the cells. So we're avoiding these. The exception is there is a healthy form of sunflower oil called high oleic, which means it's not high linoleic. Sesame's kind of in the middle here, so I would avoid it, okay? You need 4 oils in your life: olive, avocado, coconut, and then like your butter, ghee, tallow, fats. That's the 4. It's that simple. The rest can go. Don't overcomplicate it. It really is that simple. Those are stable. They have double bonds. They don't break down. You can heat them and they don't denature. They do not congest the cells of the body. The problem is if you eat a lot of the reds, what I showed, very powerful study done on rats, and I've showed this a couple of times, but it's crazy powerful, that the more you ate linoleic acids and fed it to rats, the higher the weight gain, and then the higher the breakdown of the tissue of the liver, the duodenum, and the kidneys. These got damaged. So the more linoleic acid that went in, the heavier they got, the faster they got. Interesting though, is you can make a healthy fat bad by frying it. And the frying of an oil is often done in red, peanuts, corns, vegetable oils. They're repeatedly heated, and I've heard multiple times. I heard that at an amusement park, the donut machine, the dough machine, the fried dough machine, only the oil got changed once a summer. Once a summer. In a restaurant like a fast food joint, once a day. Hundreds of uses. Why does that matter? In just 3 uses of reheating the oil, the fat content, this is the only difference. Just using linoleic acid and then heating it 1 time and heating it 3 times increased their weight in 4 weeks. Increased the damage in the tissue in 4 weeks. Literally, the colon grew polyps, the duodenum grew polyps, the liver had damage to its immune protectors. So we're shutting down organs in 4 weeks by eating too much linoleic acid and by heating it. So we stay the heck away from this crap. You do it yourself, or basically you don't do it. These have to go because they are dipped in oils that are repeatedly heated, which is ramping up the congestion of your cells. It will take you 600 days. I don't want this to be discouraging. It's just the fact to remove the toxicity of these cells to move them from here. So when's the best time to get started on this? Right now. So you start cutting out linoleic acid and you absolutely avoid repeatedly heated linoleic acid. Your kidneys, your liver, and your digestive tract will quickly thank you. So we avoid linoleic acid. We avoid repeatedly heated acids. We start putting in approved fats. What were the 4? Coconut, olive, avocado, and then there's the butter, ghee, fat, lard. Okay? You're going to ask about a bunch of other questions. Just stop it. Just stick with those 4. Make it simple on yourself. These are going to be the better forms. I really like butter and ghee and tallow and fat because it's so stable and it's so from nature, even above those nut oils of olive, avocado, and coconut. But those are your approved better best. Stay away from linoleic acid. Let's keep cutting the crap. Artificial ingredients. These things have to go. They're so toxic to our system. The main 2 I want you to focus on, these are so prevalent and some of the highest ones in all of the food supply. Here's your 2. I could talk about a lot of them. I went through 10,000 of them, but these are the 2 you got to watch out for. They're in so many different things. Number 1 is sucralose and artificial sweeteners. Sucralose is the most prevalent of them. Putting sucralose in your body, which is a chemical compound that goes through 17 different interactions to form this chemical, directly impacts your appetite. It makes you eat more, which makes you fatter faster. It destroys and damages the pancreas. It makes you insulin resistant. It destroys the gut microbiome. It damages the protectors of the liver, and it adds more fat cells. Sucralose. Artificial sweeteners are horrible for your kidneys and your liver. They do not like them. They have to isolate them. You think you're doing yourself a favor by getting sweetness? This is in your supplements. This is in your energy drinks. This is in anything that is artificially sweetened or says no sugar in it. If it says no sugar, you better be looking for sucralose. You better be looking for things like ACE-K, sulfamine, potassium. And you should also be looking for any kind of Splenda, sweet and low, aspartame. These things have to go. This is one of the worst for the kidneys. And the other one that's getting banner level news right now, artificial sweeteners and artificial dyes. One of them finally just got eliminated, and it's this frontline news. I've got interviewed recently by Fox News to talk about some of these foods and what foods we can replace with them. Red number 3, the artificial dye banned by the FDA because it creates cancer. It's still in all of these different foods. It's in your mashed potatoes, your yellow rice. It's in Pop-Tarts. It's in canned food mixes and jelly beans, fruit by the foot, cough syrups, gummies, supplements. It's in so many different things. What makes me compassionate over this is it's not banned until 2027. If it causes cancer and it needs to come out, get it out now. Why would they not? Because those companies are paying the powers that be to run through their inventory first, give them time to change the formula while we continue to consume this stuff because not enough people know about it. This is directly linked to cancers, especially when we look at the health of the kidneys, and the liver has to deal with this. So any kind of artificial dyes, artificial colorings, they've got to go. Artificial sweeteners, artificial colorings, no-goes. And then look for your rancid forms of oil, anything that doesn't say coconut oil, olive oil, or avocado oil, then we got to get it out. We got to cut it down. That's what's leading to all this crap. Those are the artificial ingredients that must go. Finally, your kidneys need clean protein. They can still handle 20, 30 grams per meal of actual protein, not meat, but actual protein. Those are going to be fine. You need to clean up the sugars, clean up the fats, that your kidneys are going to thank you so much. But the kidneys and liver do not do well when there's lots of extra processed protein with hormones and antibiotics. So your cows need to roam free in the grass, not stand on their own, because it changes them. If they're just stand there and they don't eat grass, they're going to eat grain, and they're going to take in lots of linoleic acid, lots of glyphosate. They're going to need a lot of hormones. They're going to need a lot of antibiotics, and you can just look at the meat and tell the difference. Grass-fed, grain-fed, fatty, loss of nutrients, healthy, no inflammation. That's the difference. The same thing applies to chickens. When you raise them like this and feed them arsenic and load them full of antibiotics and growth hormone, and you don't let them roam in the pasture, there's a difference in the eggs. Regular eggs, loss of B vitamins, loss of choline, which is highly, highly needed by the liver. It's a huge nutrient that the liver loves. They look like this instead of a bright yellow color when they're pasture raised. When fish are raised in a pen and fed pellets, they become way more toxic in their tissues as opposed to ones in the wild. And so there's fatty, farm-raised, discolored meat as opposed to wild-caught, way more lean and naturally pink because of their diet. The dairy products show up when there is a grass-fed cow versus one that is raised in a pen, or margarine, which is synthetically colored to try to look like this goodness that comes straight from the cow. Things like margarine are extremely toxic forms of trying to make meat-made products. Lots of meat alternatives and cheeses, butters, meat patties have so many processed chemicals in them. You have to be very, very, very leery, and they often contain these rancid oils. Margarine is made with a disgusting process, including bleaching, including hydrogen gas, including having to put in artificial dyes, colorings, because it is nothing like actual butter. So these are the chemicals that have to be avoided. So avoid commercial meat and meat products. Avoid non-organic, genetically modified meat replacement products. What's approved is you want to at least have no antibiotics and no hormones. And what would be even better and best is if you could actually get wild caught fish, if you could actually get pasture raised chicken and chicken products, if you could get grass fed beef, and if they can be organic, even better, because then their diet is really good. Now, that was a lot to cover very quickly. I wrote a book on the topic. You can get it with the link below. I'll send you a free copy to sum up how to follow these conditions, how to follow these oversights, regardless of the diet type, carnivore, vegetarian, or whatever it is you're choosing to do. You can't have lots of crap in your diet. Now, to save the liver, to save the kidney as fast as possible, here is the key study. 43.8% reduction in the fat in the liver. This is also going to have a massive impact on the kidneys. When you cut this crap, you are going to begin to release fat. That's a good thing, Dr. Living Good, right? Yes, but also no. When you look at the amount of toxins that are going to be released because they're stored in that fat, there's a 260% increase in blood toxin release when you lose weight. So those people taking Ozempic and artificial means of injection are losing weight, but they're loading up the body with a bunch of toxins, let alone what GLP-1 inhibitors already do to the kidney, pancreas, and the liver. Now they got all this toxicity on top of it. So your liver is stressed and strained. You don't fix the crap. You inject a drug and you release a bunch of toxins. This is not going to go well for people that try to cut corners. You don't have to cut corners. You just need to cut the crap. When you do, you're going to release toxins. So what better be working working well? Our kidneys and our liver. There's a detox pathway that this liver has to, phase 1, isolate those. Phase 2, bind them to materials that can help phase 3, get them out of your body through your bile, gallbladder, kidney, stool, skin, sweat, and urine. These are your filters. Help them out. This liver detoxification pathway needs to be supported. My favorite supporters are milk thistle, NAC, glutamine, lysine, cysteine, cruciferous vegetables, B vitamins, and then anything that takes away antioxidants. This is isolating the oxidation inside of our body. Those are what are required, those nutrients, to go from phase 1 to phase 2. To support the gall, you need choline. We also need bile salts, and we need digestive enzymes to break the food down. These are crucial to isolate the toxicities and the crap of alcohol, food additives that I talked about, food, insecticides and herbicides, the end products of these things, let alone microorganisms that are destroying our kidney and destroying our livers. You can do this. You can support these phases, and you can eat like this by simply cutting the crap. And when that happens, this happens. The skeptical, non-participating husband goes from high liver enzyme levels and damage to the liver, and 18 days later, he's in a safe zone. This is literally from what I just took tens of thousands of people through this protocol. Here's the meal plan. Here's the nutrients to support the liver. Here's nutrients to support the kidney. Go. 18 days later, clean liver. This is how fast you can rejuvenate the kidneys, the liver. They desperately need your help, but you got to put the right things in them. And it starts with taking the wrong foods out. To get a part of that, join the liver cleanse below. There's a link for it. You'll be put into a private group, get the coaching, get the meal plan, and we'll show you exactly the nutrients to put in to support that liver so it can accelerate that weight loss. If you want to add some simple drinks to that, I also made a video as a next step. Check that out to heal the liver and accelerate weight loss. That's the next step. We can do better. We can build health. We can experience real health. Take this video and give someone a 12-hour masterclass in just 20 minutes. Pass it along. Help the world. They desperately need it in the livers and their kidneys. There you go, peeps.